877-337-6666. There's two sides of it. It's like AD and BC, right? The flip side is it's the single biggest failed experiment in NBA history, bar none. And now you look forward. The Brooklyn Nets have been broken up, and they only won a single playoff series more than the Knicks. Good afternoon, Evan. How are you today, kid?
How do you feel?
I feel freed.
I feel freed?
I feel freed because I feel like over the last few days we've been in jail. We've been in prison. We've been in prison to Twitter. We've been in prison to what's going to happen. What does this guy want? What's going to happen? And I feel good knowing that the closure has occurred.
Great.
I feel good that James Harden's in Philadelphia and we got a decent return. Not my dream return. I was obvious. I told you many times what I wanted. I feel like the return is okay. It's solid. And we move on. And the era's over. I'm a little melancholy because when they first acquired James a year ago, after I freaked out, after I cried on the radio, I made peace with the fact that Harden was in net. I kind of started liking that Harden was in net. And I envisioned a championship with these three guys. And it's sad to me that a year later, they played 16 freaking games.
Out of 125 possible.
That's sad to me.
Yeah.
But quite frankly, James Harden quit on the Brooklyn Nets. He quit on being here. He quit on playing basketball about a week ago against Sacramento. And with that said, good riddance. Because if he doesn't want to be here, and he doesn't want to be on my basketball team, and he doesn't want to team with Kevin Durant, and I understand the reasons, blame Kyrie Irving, blame the mandate, then he's got to go. So go to Philadelphia, eat your cheesesteaks with that loser franchise, and we'll battle it out. We took your loser in Ben Simmons. You have our loser in James Harden. And we'll find out in a couple of months who's better off.
Yeah,
but I'm glad it's over.
Ultimately, that'll be the deciding factor, of course. You know, this failed experiment of having the big three East Coast and the Brooklyn Nets waltzing really right into an NBA final and then rolling the dice hoping that they were going to win it really is, and I'm not saying this just to bust your balls, it's the biggest fail in the history of the NBA. You have three of the best 10 players alive on the planet.
It didn't happen, though, Craig.
No, it happened. I don't care about injuries
I'm telling you,
or about getting shots or about hamstrings.
No.
They were all on the roster.
I understand.
They failed miserably.
And I think it's totally fair to look.
I feel for you.
Well, I think it's totally fair to look at it that way. But I don't even look at it as a failure more than it is
it's a failure.
We never got to see it.
You guys you didn't say it, but you guys were supposed to win multiple championships. It was going to be the coronation of the greatest player on the planet in Kevin Durant, winning without Steph Curry and all those people that have that for some reason in the ledger against him. And, it sucks that they only played 16 games together for sure because you never really got to see the potential of all that greatness.
But that's what you hit on that sticks with me, that I never got to see it. None of us did. They played 16 games together.
You understand why non-Net fans – listen, we'll get to how the Nets are as a team in a second because that's a byproduct of this. It's not as if the Nets suck now. They don't. But, there is an arrogance amongst Net fans that turned people off, and there's a lot of people out there, I know you don't care about them, who are getting great joy that Scary Hours, just went through a very public divorce. And Kevin Durant, apparently, if you now believe the reports, has already spoken with Ben Simmons.
That sounds like, I don't know.
That's called tampering is what it's called.
Sounds like tampering.
And I assume the conversation was... because it had to have happened before Sean Marks pulls the trigger on the trade.
Right.
It had to be, my man, what's really going on? Is this mental health thing a legitimate thing? And if we pull off this trade, are you playing?
Yes.
Because up to right now, Ben Simmons has said, I'm not in the right frame of mind to play basketball.
Right.
And that wasn't,
but
I can't play in front of the Philly crowd.
Craig,
was, I can't play anywhere.
Yeah, but none of us believe that. It's kind of like James Harden's hamstring right now. No one actually believes that James Harden is dealing with a hamstring issue. So, and I hate to minimize mental health issues.
Well,
I'm not
never
trying
minimize it when they're real.
Okay, but I'm telling you that I'm not the only person. I think a lot of people in Philadelphia, I think you too, never actually believed that was real. So when we talk about Ben Simmons' mental health issues and James Harden's hamstring issue, I have a feeling that within the next couple of weeks, those issues are all gone.
They're going to magically disappear.
Yes.
Well, you know James Harden's going to be ready to rock and roll as soon as the Sixers play their next game.
Of course.
You know full well the hamstring's going to magically heal itself.
Of course.
And I also do believe that all of a sudden Ben Simmons is going to be in the right frame of mind to play basketball. Now, you can make an argument or question how many games, how many weeks until he's in quote-unquote NBA shape. I don't think he's coming playing 38 minutes out of the gate, but that's not a knock on him. That's, believe it or not, as much as they're world-class athletes, there's being in great shape, and then there's game shape.
Well, Ben Simmons hasn't played an NBA game in 8 months, essentially.
Now, I know he has been working out at the Sixers facility,
but he's not
playing NBA games.
He hasn't played an NBA game in almost 8 months.
Yeah, so there's going to be a ramp-up for him. But here's, as much as, I enjoy the fact that, the Nets did not win a championship with Durant, Kyrie, and Harden, 3 of the best players in the world today, and I will gloat and I will poke you and other Net fans. I'll get great glee out of it because I'm not even sure if my team knows there is a trade deadline today with 52 minutes to go in it, and Randall's still a Nick, and Cam Reddish is still a Nick, and on and on and on.
Right.
That there does come a point here today, Evan, where I also got to keep it real as a basketball fan. You got a great outside shooter in Seth Curry.
He was very important to me, as I made clear to you early on.
You now have collectively, I think it's 3 guys shooting over 40% from 3. So 3 legitimate outside shooters. Assuming Durant comes back and he's healthy.
Yeah.
Assuming this mask mandate
You're
gets
doing
changed.
a lot of assuming, though, Craig.
I
hate to say it.
But if all that happens,
they have a chance.
And you say to Ben Simmons, just play defense. We're not asking you to do much more than that because we got great outside shooters. We got the best player on the planet. And for my money, the most exciting player on the planet, who's Kyrie. The Nets can still win a championship.
No doubt.
They didn't knock themselves out of championship contention.
The key to the Brooklyn Nets winning an NBA championship is the same today as it was 5 hours ago. Kevin Durant needs to be healthy, and Kyrie Irving needs to be eligible for all games. Period. Stop. That was the statement 6 hours ago.
Yeah, I agree.
The statement 6 weeks ago. It's the statement now. Can they win an NBA championship with Ben Simmons and Seth Curry? And they're not done. They're going to make another trade in the next 51 minutes.
Has a superstar in any sport ever come to New York in essentially his prime and had such a quick exit or failed New York experience that you can think of?
So it's funny, and I was thinking about this. It's late in his career.
Okay.
So I don't think it's the same, but Brett Favre had a 1 year here, but it was the end of his career.
Yes.
The Mets made a trade for Mike Hampton, and he was great for the 1 year he was here, and then he got the hell out of town.
Right.
You know what I mean? So there are examples of quick exits.
But not the same way, I don't think, right?
I have never seen anything like this. And I took a lot of crap in December when I tweeted something I felt in December, which is, boy, I got this feeling James Harden's era is going to end in a way in which we look at him like Darren Williams. And obviously, even if you don't know the Nets or like the Nets, you've heard the comments I've made about Darren Williams. I can't stand the guy.
Yeah.
And as we sit here today, it's 10 times worse than Darren Williams.
It ain't
Think
good.
about this, Craig. A superstar forced his way here, okay? Underperformed eventually. At first, he was real good. Forced his way out within a year and a week or two.
Yep.
It is
and
so
has gotten his way
mind-blowing.
both times.
And, bro, he ended up in Philadelphia.
Where he wanted to go originally.
Like, my dislike for that city, and I hope you still share it with me.
You know that I do.
Okay, well, we're going to test that, aren't we?
Oh, are we?
We're really
Well,
going
you're
to
going to
test
put me in a
this.
bad spot. I ain't rooting for that game.
Really?
March 8th, whatever it is.
Really?
When the Nets play the Sixers in Philadelphia.
Oh, really?
I have no rooting
Craig,
interest.
in that arena that night,
Yeah.
17,000 people are going to chant things at Ben Simmons I can't say on the radio.
I might go to that game.
Really?
I'm thinking about it.
And what will you be wearing that day?
I'll be wearing a Knick jersey. Yeah.
You know
so both sides kick my ass.
You know what I would do if I went to that game? And you can say I'm full of it. I'm not. I'd wear a damn Ben Simmons Brooklyn Nets jersey that day.
Oh, boy.
Because I have to show support for the guys on my team. But think about this, New Yorkers. Knicks fans, you too.
Yeah.
Can you imagine that city if Ben Simmons that evil, soft, whatever word you want to use to describe him, Philly.
Yeah.
Imagine if Ben Simmons comes back into their building and haunts them.
Well,
Can
listen,
you imagine, Craig?
that would be
Jump
fantastic.
aboard, Craig.
Yeah.
Do you hate Philadelphia?
I do.
Do you?
I do.
Do you?
I do,
You
sir.
know what would bring pain to that city more than anything
Yeah,
I could
the Nets
imagine?
beating the Sixers.
Not the Nets, Craig.
Yeah.
Ben Simmons
but here's the problem.
beating them.
I'm on board if it's in the first round, second round, or maybe even the third round. I'm not on board in the Eastern Finals. That's a tough spot for me to be in.
What do you mean?
Because I don't like your team either.
Yeah, but
now,
you-
I dislike Philly more, of course,
Foo Philly?
because I love the borough of Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Foo Philly.
Foo Philly.
Yeah.
We are going to put Foo Philly to the ultimate,
Well, we may or may
ultimate
not.
test.
We'll see how it goes.
I know the Nets have to make the playoffs.
The Nets do have to make the playoffs, and Ben Simmons has to let the world know that he's mentally fit to play.
Hey, here's a bottom line.
Maybe he's not.
Here's a bottom line. I want to sum this up very easily. This is complicated. Not everything is cut or dry. I am melancholy that they traded James Harden. It's sad it didn't work. They had to do this. I thought they met in the middle on a trade. I wanted Curry and Maxey. I got Curry. I got Drummond. I got 2 number ones, which they're going to move in the next 45 minutes. So right now as a Net fan, I can't represent every fan. I can represent myself.
Yeah.
I think they had to make this deal. I think it's a nice deal. I think the factors that we were all relying on a week ago remain the same. The best player on this planet needs to be healthy. Kyrie Irving needs to be eligible. And hopefully, Ben Simmons can handle what he's about to deal with.
Well, listen, he's not in Philadelphia, so that's got to make it a lot easier. The trade deadline is 45 minutes away. The Knicks have done nothing at all right now. There is the thought that the Nets will be aggressive. That was the word that was used. And when it comes to the insiders on this one, win horse, beat Woj. On this one.
Here's the problem. Anytime you look at reporters, understand their motivation. The motivation behind why they report stuff. Adrian Wojnarowski is a great reporter. He held the water for Sean Marks for the last week.
And it backfired on him. Like, the Nets owe him now.
Yes,
Because I can
yes.
play it and I have it lined up. Steve Nash got embarrassed publicly also. Steve Nash came out every day the last 4 days saying we are not trading James Harden. Give it a listen.
This has been a constant thing since the summer. He's continually reiterated that he wants to be here, and we've continually said that we want him here, and that's our best chance to win.
Okay.
What was he supposed to say? Look,
maybe Steve Nash
Craig,
had no idea they were doing
Craig,
the deal.
I won't defend some of Steve Nash's rotations, but what I will defend is what was he supposed to say? We all knew he was lying, but what was he supposed to say? No, seriously. What was he supposed to say? You're the head coach of the Nets. You know what's going on behind the scenes. They're keeping you a loop, abreast of the situation. What are you supposed to say when a media member asks you, hey, what's going on with James Harden?
I have no idea. I talked to Sean Marks. That's his job.
So you go ignorant card?
Now, I don't know if this is accurate.
Oh,
This
no.
is coming from
What are you
alleged.
doing?
This is alleged.
What are you doing?
Allegedly, this is coming from a Utah sports radio station.
Yes.
I'm going to tell you off the jump, no possible way this happens.
Okay.
But I'm going to tell you what I just got on Twitter from Louis Centeno. Okay?
Oh, God.
I don't know who that is, but okay.
From Utah?
I'll be your Huckleberry. Let me just say this. I'm not even going to say it. I ain't saying it because I don't think it's right.
Oh, well, what was it?
I'm not-
Donovan Mitchell was going where?
Yeah, exactly. I'm not, let it happen. I got 45 minutes before the trade deadline. I'm not going to be the Huckleberry that puts it out there and then goes,
Donovan to the Knicks?
We got you. I'm not saying nothing.
What was it, Donovan to the Knicks?
I'm not saying nothing.
No, and that's your fantasy as Knicks fans, and it should be, by the way. I have
Of
no
course
issue
I
with
want
that.
Donovan Mitchell.
He
but
is-
I'm not saying
Donovan
nothing.
Mitchell on so many levels is built for New York City more than any other athlete I remember. So if you guys ever pull that off, if my team ever somehow pulled that off,
Yeah.
you should be ecstatic, but it's not happening.
Well, listen, in New York at least, this has trumped some Super Bowl talk. For now, we'll get your immediate reaction to it. James Harden. I wonder where he goes down in New York history now.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
At the bottom. This guy quit on us.
Yeah.
He quit on us.
Yeah.
No, literally.
I'm asking.
You got so offended when I tweeted last week as James Harden on the take because I watched him quit on a basketball floor. And I get it. I understand. Evan, what about Kyrie? What about Kyrie? What about Kyrie? You can say a lot of things about Kyrie Irving.
Yeah.
You can say a ton of things about Kyrie Irving. I have never seen Kyrie Irving quit on a basketball court. I have never seen him shrivel up like a baby the way James Harden has over the last few days. Good freaking riddance. So you want to know where he falls in the lexicon of net history? Sports history, in New York history?
Yeah.
I want you to go into the bathroom right now.
Yeah.
I want you to look in that toilet.
That's where it goes?
All right? I want you to flush it.
Yeah?
And I want you to look all the way down that hole. Because that's where he is. Because what other athlete came here and quit like the you-know-what he is?
Well, I mean, Kyrie did last year.
Did Kyrie quit?
Yeah.
Kyrie injured his ankle in the postseason, dude.
Said, I'm not playing. I'm gonna dance at a club in West
That's
Orange
different.
instead.
And look,
that is
Kyrie
different.
Irving finds reasons not to play, and it's a fair critique.
That's
But I have never seen him on a basketball court. That's why I was specific.
Yes.
Quit like that.
Okay. I mean, it's the same thing.
Really?
Yeah.
Is it?
Like one guy saying I'm not playing versus another guy dogging it.
Bro,
I
don't want to defend Kyrie Irving. It's a different
Because
argument.
there are those who will say, and I want to be clear, I support Kyrie's decision on getting a shot or not getting a shot. All well and good. If you don't want to get it, don't get it. No one's going to tell you how to live your life. But there is the thought out there, well, everyone like you is pissed at James Harden. If Kyrie's vaccinated, this never goes south.
100% agree with you. This started because of Kyrie Irving and Bill de Blasio. 100%.
no doubt.
Now, let me ask you something.
Go.
And I want you to solve this. Why was James Harden miserable? Why did he force his way out?
I'm going to answer that question right after the break. We'll get your calls as well, 877-337-6666. One of the biggest days in New York sports history, and it only came a year after the other biggest day in New York sports history.
Dribble, fat. I nailed it. You say
but
something.
you changed.
Hold on. Doesn't matter.
You went the other way.
So did everyone with Julius
but you
Randle. Doesn't matter.
flip-flopped.
Doesn't matter. He was playing out like an MVP. Of
You
course.
flipped?
As an MVP last year,
flopped.
yes. You say something, and it's so true. Craig will say, look, it may not be obvious right away, but give it time. I'll eventually be proven right.
Yes.
For example, you have been proven right today.
How is that?
Craig was adamant before anyone else said it that James Harden preferred and wants to go to Philly.
Yeah, I did say that.
You were right.
A year ago.
And guess what?
Yes.
Karis LeVert, Jared Allen, every number one pick in the world, dribble, fat. It was a bumpy road, Craig.
Yeah.
It had ups, it had downs. I was right.
So a year ago, to get James Harden, you gave up Jared Allen, Karis LeVert, Taurean Prince, a 2021 first-round pick swap, your 22 first-round pick, a 23 swap, your 24 first-round pick, a 25 swap, your 26 first-round pick, and a 27 swap. You have now taken James Harden and traded him for Ben Simmons,
Seth Curry,
Andre Drummond,
and two number ones that I think will be moved by 3 o'clock today. So
basically, you traded Jared Allen, Karis LeVert, Taurean Prince, and a couple of picks in return for Seth Curry,
Ben Simmons,
Andre Drummond, and Ben Simmons.
Look, here's the truth. When you frame it
all
that
within
way,
a year.
No. When you frame it that way, it's a terrible decision.
Yeah,
it's obvious. But here's the thing about life, and I think we really do have to look at this way. When you make a mistake, do you double down on the mistake, or do you cut your losses and try to make the best of the situation? Okay, they could have doubled down and said, we're not trading James Harden. We're going to max him out. We're going to try to make him happy and go from there. And ask yourself, what would this have looked like by the end of the year or 2 years from now if he did agree on a max extension? So, yes, if you frame it as Allen, LeVert, and picks, it's depressing.
Yeah.
Like, no doubt, bro, I would never argue that. But you can't in life. It's like saying, well, I've invested 5 years in this girl. I'm miserable, but I've invested 5 years. We should just get married.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, we have a kid, so.
Okay, we have a kid. We're going to just stay married, but we're both miserable.
Yeah, not a good idea.